Rohit, I am absolutely delighted to be speaking with you. This is, I believe, your first UK interview, and that too for your first Netflix series, I believe, which is, of course,
Yes,
Mismatched. And
yes.
of, and of course, a huge congratulations as well on Mismatched as well as Ludo. Of course, the film has been enjoyed by many. In what way do you think working in projects which have been made specifically for the OTT platforms have been beneficial for you as an actor?
I mean, starting with the basic, I think it just we're able to cater to a lot many more people. I mean, the fact that we're on Netflix now with Ludo and Mismatched, we're able to reach over 190 countries with over 195 million viewers. So I think that's huge. And I think for an actor, what's important, I mean, the eventually we just want our work to be seen. We want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be appreciated, because I think that's what an actor wants, and that's what an actor thrives on. So I think the fact that these are the projects which are on OTT just gives us that, exactly that, right? So yeah, I think that's why, for starters, that's why I think OTT is really, really beneficial for all the actors.
Yes, absolutely, and very well said as well. Because both of your characters in Ludo and Mismatch are like the boy next door. So would you kind of consider yourself to be a boy next door character in real life as well?
You know, mm, I don't think Ludo's character is so much uh, that you can call a boy next door, to be very honest, because he's this salesman working in a mall who doesn't really have a house. I don't necessarily think that Ludo's character is a boy next door, but Rishi from Mismatch definitely is.
Yeah.
I do think now, you know what, I'm beginning to believe that maybe I am a boy next door, because like everyone's telling me that, and I never really thought about it so much, but now maybe I'm beginning to. So maybe.
I think so. I mean, I just think the way you bring that sort of aura on screen, it just seems so good to be true. So I definitely really get that vibe as well. In fact, your role, Rishi Shekhawat, in Mismatch is pretty much like a modern day Prince Charming. I think that's definitely the sort of vibe I got from him. He's like the ideal kind of hubby sort of material that we all kind of
Hubby
go
material, that's the first. Wow.
through.
I've heard boyfriend material so far. I've heard future husband, but I've not heard hubby material. That's pretty cool.
He's literally like a Rajshri character brought out on screen. And I think that's definitely something which I kind of got. But given that it's, of course, inspired by the book itself, how challenging was it for you to bring the character to life? And what was your main reference point as an actor?
Um, Anuj, starting from reading this script, I think we were very clear in the fact that we're not going by the book. For me, I feel like sometimes too much information is also kind of bad for an actor. Um, because I think it just takes away from you being spontaneous on set, because you know where the character is coming from over and over again, right? So I think I was very clear about the fact that I didn't want to read the book. Also, that was completely backed by my director. I mean, my both my directors, they told us that you don't necessarily have to kind of refer to the book, because while it's adapted, we also have a different perspective. We also have a different vision for the series, and that I think is beautifully written by our writers Ghazal and her entire team.
Hmm.
So to be fair, I think I completely trusted on my director's vision. Both my directors, be it Akash or Nipun, and I think the most fun part and the I got the greatest joy of my life when I was on that set and we were collaborating. So, you know, the reason why I said that I didn't want too much information about the character is also because I want to find the shades of the character while I'm on set. You know, when I'm performing a scene, let's say with my partner Dimple, or for that matter with the rest of the cast. The way the cast reacts to Rishi also helps me find a different shade to the character. So I think I completely trusted, like I said, my director's vision, and then I wanted to kind of explore and experiment on set, and I think we were able to do that. It was great fun, kind of figuring out the character as well as the story while we were shooting it.
Hmm. So continuing from that sort of boy next door sort of question that I asked you earlier.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting how, you're often seen playing this compassionate and patient man in your films. I mean, is this the sort of market that you'd like to corner? This sort of role of a chocolate boy hero, so to speak. Is that the sort of aim of yours as an actor?
Uh, it hasn't been a conscious decision. I think directors and the makers just find it easier, or rather, they just see that character in me. I don't think that has been an aim that I want to be the chocolate boy or I want to be the man who's compassionate and patient all the time. I think it would be fun to explore other characters, other shades of a human being. Having said that, I am enjoying it, and I'll be very, very honest. The characters that I've portrayed, they've not just been characters, but that's been a lot of myself. I cannot. I've always said this in all my interviews that I cannot possibly play a character and not bring myself into it. It's just it won't be believable. For the best part is when so for the last 2 weeks, we've had Ludo come out, we've had Mismatch come out. I've had people watch those two projects and they've given me a feedback that Rohit, both the characters are so different from one another. However, we can still see a massive part of you. How do you do that? And I think that brings me so much joy because that means that the characters that I'm portraying are believable. The people who are watching it are finding it believable. They believe in those characters that I'm playing. So yeah, I would be very, very excited, although to kind of try new genres and new characters, which are not so patient and compassionate, perhaps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In fact, I was going to ask you, what would you say is that dream role for you? Because I believe there's always that sort of ideal role that an actor envisions of or aspires to play. What would you say that is?
I don't necessarily have a dream role, to be very honest. I do not, because ironic as that may sound, I do not watch a lot of things. I'm not a
Oh,
huge watcher. Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm just not a huge watcher. I don't enjoy watching films as much. I enjoy doing them. Uh, so I think to answer your question, what is my dream role? I don't think I've found one yet. But if there would be one, then I will keep you posted, Anuj.
yeah, I definitely would love to see you play like a very dark character. I think seeing this very like sort of lovely, cute, like Candy Floss Wala character, I think I definitely want to see you play a very like hard character. I think that's something that I would love to see you explore. I think in
Actually, a lot of my audiences have also said that, although they're just about beginning to enjoy the characters that I'm playing, that, the whole, like you said, lover boy, chocolate boy, etc., etc. But I think that is one thing that I've heard from so many people that, we'd love to see you angry on screen. So I think I'd also want to do a character which is angry. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be so fun
yeah.
for me also as an actor to explore that. I think it'll be great fun. So yeah, can't wait.
Definitely. But at such a young age, Rohit, you've been a part of some big and acclaimed films. I mean, I think beginning with what, Dear Zindagi, and then you've had What Will People Say, you've had Hitchki, and of course The Sky is Pink, which was actually my first five-star review. And I caught it at the London Film Festival as well when it premiered here in the UK. So what satisfies you the most about success? Is it the final result or the preparation for it?
Wow, how have I never thought of that? Uh, okay, so it's a bit of both. Now, when I think about it, when we were shooting for all these projects, when I was shooting for all these projects, I would often think of what it would be like when it would come out and what would people think. Um, Now that the projects are releasing, I often find myself thinking of the journey that I made during the project. So I think it's a bit of both. I think the satisfaction can't just come from one place. I think it's the journey as well as the destination.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. So you'd say a bit of both is your.
Yeah, also because there is one thing that underlines both the kind of sides of a project, right? While the process is important, it's also the release that's important, because one thing that I'm getting from both is a different learning, a new learning. Because while I'm playing those characters, while I'm shooting for those projects, I'm getting to learn so much about human emotions, not just about filmmaking. Of course, when you're on set, you're looking at the crew, doing the most incredible job. So you're obviously inspired and you're learning so much from them. But at the same time, you're also learning about human emotions. And when, for example, the past week and a half, we've been having back-to-back interviews, and there is so much that I learned from the media, because the kind of questions that kind of come our way sometimes, and it just completely like, there have been questions that have completely thrown me off guard, and I'm just like, wow, that's so cool, because I never thought about these things.
Hmm.
Now, for example, this interview, I got to learn that about myself, that I enjoy both the process as much. Um, be it
Hmm.
the process of shooting a film or the release. So I think I'm getting to learn, and I think that is something that satisfies me. So whether that means it's from the fact that I'm shooting a film, or if it means that it's from the release of a film, I think it just means equally to me.
Very well answered, and I'm very lightened to know that you learn a lot from us. Actually, I think that's something that a lot of the media people like us will definitely appreciate. But I think it's also quite interesting because you're not actually from a film family, and when you said that you don't actually watch many films, I find that very startling because a lot of actors sort of decide to become actors after watching a lot of cinema and being impacted a lot by that. So why did you become an actor, and how comfortable were your family with your decision in becoming an actor?
So the thought was planted in my head by my father, actually. Um, I was always creatively inclined. And this start, like my father, I remember for the first, I mean, I don't remember, but my family tells me because I was too young. But my family tells me that my father started saying that I want Rohit to become an actor when I was 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I'll tell you where that started from. So, we'd go on these family vacations to different places. And I would constantly be behind my father to take my photographs in different places. That's where it started from. And he said that, I want him to become an actor. So maybe when he grows up, I'm going to produce a film for him and he's going to become an actor. Um, and after that, that was something that was always kind of in the environment at home, but I never really paid too much heed to it because I wanted to dance. I always wanted to be a dancer because I just thought that it's a medium where I can portray so much, I can tell stories, and I just really enjoyed that. But at when I was 12 is when my father passed. And when my father passed, I think that's when I kind of started taking this a bit more seriously. Because, then I thought that, okay, I want to tell stories, whether that means I'm dancing or that means I'm acting. It's one of the same thing. Um, and I thought that by becoming an actor, it would be something, that it'll be that one thing by which I can keep my father close to me. So I decided that I want to kind of give it a shot. Universe, God has been extremely kind, and I feel like I'm looked after, and I feel like my father has kind of made this journey for me, which has a lot of ups and has a lot of downs. But yeah, that's how it started actually. It was my father who wanted me to become an actor, and I'm at it now.
Wow, that's really sweet to hear, actually. And I think when I spoke with Janvi actually for one of her initial interviews that we did, she also said that being in front of the camera made her feel quite closer to her mother as well. So I find it very poignant actually in a way how um you have these sort of emotions as well. And I guess because it was your father's wish, so it kind of seems like as if you're almost living his dream as well in a way, isn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. I mean, I've always wondered. Now, this is a bit like strange as we talk about. I've always wondered what it would be like. There have been so many screenings that I've been a part of. There have been so many premieres that I've been a part of. And I always see sometimes my co-actors, sometimes the actors whose films I'm going to watch, I see them coming down with their families. I see them coming down with their mom and their dad, and I see them enjoying a film together. And I always wonder what it would be like to actually have him with me for one of my films for a screening. And that thought, it just makes me. I can almost imagine what he would feel, and that one particular thought just keeps me going. It's that one thought that I want to work doubly triply hard every single day.
Mm, mm. And it's great that you're very confident, Rohit, as well. But again, would you say this confidence has come because of the success that you've had already, or would you say that's just you as a person?
Okay, I genuinely mean what I'm trying to say over here. So, and I'm not trying to, sound a certain way.
Arrogant.
I
No.
genuinely do not know what success means. Um, I do not understand that term. For me, success was the day I landed my first acting gig,
Mm,
and that was a very, very tiny ad where I was in the background, like I was literally passing. For me, that was a success because I could be in front of the camera. Um,
mm,
Having said that, the definition of success changes as you grow,
yeah.
right?
That's-
Um, for me, when I did that first ad, that was success. And then I was like, okay, now I want to do a TV show. That was success for me when that happened. When that happened, I was like, okay, now I want to do a film. When I did that, then that was success. Then I thought, okay, now I want to do a film as the main lead. So when Ludo happened, that was success. While that happened, I was like, okay, now I want to try series. So that happened. And then that was success. But now I do not know what success means. Like it just keeps changing. Um,
mm,
having, if you're talking about the confidence, I think I don't give myself any other option. Um, I just feel like there's no room for it. You
mm,
have to be confident because if you're not confident, then I don't think you'll survive.
yeah.
Um, and when you talk about confidence about being an actor and being in front of the camera, I think I haven't given myself another option. Like there's no backup plan. There is no backup career. Uh, I dropped out after my 10th grade, so it's not even like I'm very, very well educated so that I can go and do a job. I'm not. Whatever I have to do is here. It's like do or die kind of situation for me.
Wow.
So I don't give myself another option. I have to do my absolute best, and and it's God's been kind that I've been, my best has been enough so far.
Mm,
Having said that, as you grow in the industry, as you grow as an actor, I think uh, the industry, the profession needs more from you, and I'm just hopeful that I'm able to kind of derive that from within me and give it.
sure. No, I think I can completely resonate with that sentiment as well because journalism is my entire life and I couldn't
Yeah,
really think of doing anything else other than journalism. So
yeah.
I can completely resonate with what you said there as well. But speaking of change, often in Hindi cinema, toxic masculinity is presented a lot as charming and as endearing, which can be very harmful for society. I mean, given the fact that you, in a way, have kind of brought chivalry back into the limelight in a way and kind of brought back that real essence of being um, a male hero, so to speak. How do you, as an actor, hope to sort of present masculine heroes in a more subtle and sensitive way now as well?
I think just by being myself, I'm not that person. I cannot ever be that person. I've grown up around four women in my house. It's my three sisters and my mom. That's where it comes from. We have not been taught how to be, whatever term you want to call it. I am not an alpha person. I am just not that person. My father never was. My brother isn't. Um, if the people I've grown up around have been a certain way, I think I take to that. I do not see what's around me. I do not think of what's charming or attractive to other people. What's attractive to me is kindness, and that's something that I've learned from my father. That's something that I've learned from my brother, from my all. If I ever try to be that person that you're just talking about,
Mm.
before anyone else, I'm going to get so much shit from my family, which has 4 women. Now
Yeah.
5, because actually now 6, because my brother's wife and her daughter. I
Mm.
would get so much shit. Like, I can't even ever think of being that person. And honestly, I'm repulsed by those kind of people.
Mm.
So I'd never be that person. And I do think that actors are not shying away from doing that anymore.
Mm.
It is incredible. I think some of the films which have come out right now, um, man, I feel like uh,
Like
I'm
Tesh, for example, I don't know if you've seen Tesh, but Jim
no,
Saab's character, it sort of talks a lot about fragile masculinity in a very beautiful and delicate way. And I think that's something which is very interesting because,
or not even so much about masculinity, but to be very honest, just talking about emotions, I feel like we used to be in a I've heard, in fact, my co-actor sometimes in the beginning, when I was doing TV at that time, I've heard my friends, my co-actors say that, oh, but I'm like the hero, how can I cry? And I was always like, I do not get it. Just because you're a hero does not mean that you don't hurt or you don't feel bad. And I
exactly,
feel like that is something which you see some of Ranbir Kapoor. I absolutely love him.
yeah,
He is fabulous. Ranveer Singh, for that matter. These people, they're fabulous. You see them cry and you want to cry. Um, so I don't think we're kind of shying away from that anymore. We're getting there, and I think, to be very very honest, I do feel that it's it's there. I just think we need to be more open to being. I think we just need to be more receptive to it.
understanding. Yes, absolutely. I think that's something really true. And speaking of Ranbir, I've always said that, when I see you on screen, especially when I saw you in Ludo, I very got Burfi vibes. Like I got, like you kind of reminded me of Ranbir. And I don't want to compare, of course, but you just gave me that vibe. And I think that's something I just wanted to kind of share with you as well, actually, since you mentioned Ranbir.
And thank
There
you
as
so much. That makes me very happy. Also, because there were a few times when Dada Anurag Basu, he mentioned that, and that is something that I've heard from the very beginning of my career, or even before my career began. Actually, like, a lot of people used to say that, you remind me a lot of Ranbir, and I take that as a huge compliment because he's a phenomenal actor
well.
and he looks like a dream. So, I take that as a massive compliment. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, absolutely. But on a final note, Rohit, before I let you go, your next work is, of course, a Tamil romantic film, I think, with the Anandi. So, what are your hopes and expectations from this? And even though language might be a barrier, how are you preparing for it?
So I've actually already shot for it, and it was supposed to be out earlier this year, but because of the lockdown, it didn't happen because of the virus. Now, obviously, like, my director wants it to release in theaters. He does not want to release it on an
Mhm.
OTT platform, which is absolutely fine. I think, to each its own. Uh, Language was a massive barrier, of course, but I think, even when, so he called me and he said, I saw you in Dear Zindagi, and although you didn't have too much to do in that film, I saw you smile, and that's when I knew that I wanted you to be a part of this project. So
Wow.
he actually saw that film, and after that he wrote it. And while he wrote it, he was like, I know for a fact that I want Rohit Saraf on this project. So when it came to me first, I was like, there is no way I'm doing this film, because there's one thing that I fear the most, and that's the fear of being bad at something that I'm doing. I do
Mm.
not want to be bad at something. Um, so when this Tamil film came my way, I was just like, I'm not going to do it because I know that I'm going to be bad because I don't even know the language. However, the kind of confidence he had in me, I was blown away. Also, then later, I thought that, it it would be the beginning of a completely new, beautiful relationship with a whole industry and a whole world altogether.
Yeah.
And I think that excited me. I absolutely loved the story because it talks about something so relevant and in such a beautiful manner. Anandi is a beautiful actor, and I enjoyed working with her so much. Having said that, a language was a problem. I still do not know the language, to be very honest. I had to kind of learn the lines a lot of times to get it right. Um, Having said that, it's not, I've heard a lot of people say, you just go in front of the camera and you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then later they dub it. But that's not what happened. I actually said the dialogues and I understood what
Wow.
they meant so
Okay.
that I could get the emotions right, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a mad journey. I had so much fun, so much to learn, because that's a completely different industry. The way they work is very, very different than how we work over here.
Hmm.
So yeah, I what I'm hoping from that film is that when it comes out, I hope that the people down south, they like me, and that they want to see more of me so that I can take this journey ahead with them.
Absolutely. I mean, we in South and I think in Indian cinema as a whole, I think we deserve to see more of you, Rohit. I think you're a tremendous talent and a great discovery, and I'm really, really glad that we've been able to see you in Mismatch and of course recently Ludo. And honestly, Rohit, thank you so much for joining me. I believe, as I said as well, this is your first UK
Yes.
interview, and I'm really, really honored that I could do this with you. So thank you so
I'm
much.
so glad, Anuj. This was such a fun and honest chat. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for doing this with me. And I can't wait to speak to you soon.
Definitely, Rohit, and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you.
Bye.